In today's show, I'm going to be talking to Julie Macken of Neves Bees. Julie and her daughter Neve are Oxfordshire beekeepers, making a range of truly natural skincare products in their workshop in West Oxfordshire. They are on a mission to bring back the wildflower meadows and donate 10% of profits to the Wildlife Trust. They also give away hundreds of packs of bee-friendly flower seeds throughout the year. Okay, I'd like to welcome Julie Macken, and she is from Neves Bees, and Neves Bees sell gorgeous natural bee products, but it's probably be easier for me to let Julie tell you more about that. So welcome, Julie, and if you'd like to just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about the business, that would be wonderful.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. So yeah, I'm Julie and I am the deputy queen bee of our family business called Neves Bees, and we make a range of all natural skincare products and gifts using our beeswax and just pure plant oils and butters. I had pretty much a 30-year career in the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry. And sold crap, basically. No, I didn't think it was at the time, but I guess I got a bit cynical about some of the stuff that was going into products and the greenwashing around natural products. And so I tried to find some products that really were natural, and I have a background in chemistry, so I kind of understand what the labels mean, and just got really cynical about, you know, some of the ingredients that are put in things. So I thought, well, I can't find it, I'm going to make it myself. And Neve is my daughter, and the bees were her idea when she was 9. She's now 18. So she and I went on this beekeeping course 9 years ago. And yeah, so we sort of started playing with it, and then everything came together and we launched Neves Bees about 2 years ago.
Wonderful. And who built the web? Did you build the website yourself? Is it?
No, and actually I come from a marketing background, so I understand communications, but I am not technical. And I guess probably, I guess that many people who are going to start out a business probably have a good idea and have the enthusiasm for their product or service and know what they want, but unless you're really into IT, and I think it's fine not to build your own. I wouldn't have known, had a clue where to get started, to be honest.
So how did you decide? Did you know somebody that could do it for you, or did you have to literally go out and?
Yeah, so how we started was, I was part of a really lovely local networking group, and one of the people I met was a designer, graphic designer, brand designer. And so I worked with her quite early on to create the products and the designs. And they are really nicely designed because I guess because I come from a brand background, it was really important that the products communicated what we wanted them to on the packaging. So we started off selling at market fairs and, you know, I was at the beekeeping shows, selling off as, you know, with the beekeeping shows. And then people could oh, can I buy it online? And I'm like, not at the moment, you can't. No. So I said, Nikki, we do need a website, and let's make it e-commerce. So Nikki, our designer bee, the graphic designer, she basically designed the website, and then she had an IT guy, Roger, who she worked with, and so he did the sort of techie stuff, and Nikki designed the front end of it. And one thing that I would say that I think is really important for people starting out, so I went to 3 different companies. I asked around and said, look, I want to get some quotes for building a website, and they varied from £20,000 down to £1,500.
Wow.
And literally everything in between. Well, I think I had 4 quotes: £1,500, 6 grand, 8 grand, and 20 grand. Obviously the 20 grand one went out the window, and 6 grand I kind of I thought about it because it sounded like he knew what he was doing. But then I thought, actually, you know what? I understand marketing. I understand the strategy. I'm going to pay Nikki to do the design. And then Roger did all the technical stuff. So it wasn't turnkey, but we got a really good workable website for, I ended up paying Nikki probably about £1,000. So £2,500, we got a really nice working website. We're now redoing the website 2 years later, but we know what was working well and what was working less well. So the next one is going to be even better.
So did you find that, what were the things that, did you find that the website, like how easy was it to get the website to do what you wanted? I'm assuming, like you say, things are going to be different on it now. What were the elements that you found that, you know, like, oh, this needs to change and that needs to change? Was it fundamental stuff, or was it more?
No, so the website worked perfectly. So from a technical point of view, it's perfect. As far as I'm aware, you know, it does. It says it's safe. We take the payment. You know, that all kind of works fine. I think my first brief to Roger and Nikki was, we have a passion for wildlife. We want to bring the wildlife back. You know, we want to talk about our brand and, you know, what we think is really important, and we're selling some products, and that's how it is.
So you're trying to change it so that the emphasis is showing that.
But now I think
brand on the website.
Yeah, and also we were quite keen to sell to retail as well. So we had a retail section of the site that trade can go in and log in.
Yeah,
and I think particularly last year kind of changed the whole retail landscape, and I realized I don't really like working with retailers, and a B2C is it just works for us. You know, selling online directly to consumers works for us. So we're changing the emphasis. The new website is much more about makes it much easier to shop and to browse, and our reason for being, our mission, if you like, to save the wildflowers and bring back the bees, is still there.
Yep.
It's sort of secondary. You know, we realized that what the user wants, what the consumer wants, is to come to the website. Oh, that's nice. I wonder what products they do. Click, click, click. Ah, that's what they do. Whereas now you have to search a bit more for it.
Yep.
So it's much more easy to shop now. Well, shortly it will be. We're just changing it at the moment.
So when's the new site going to be?
Well, the plan is sort of end of March time, so a couple of months.
Okay, not long. Oh, wonderful. No. I look forward to seeing that then. So with regards to actually running your e-commerce business, what have you found are the biggest challenges for you? I mean, aside from obviously the technical side, if you're not tech savvy with the website, but like in general, because I know.
Where shall I start? Learning curve. And I thought I knew this stuff. You know, I've worked in sales and marketing for a long time, but yeah, gosh, I mean, I think my word of advice would just be, just jump in, just start it, because you're learning all the time, and it doesn't really matter if you don't get it right, as long as the payment works and you're not doing anything illegal. I think that, you know, make sure that is right. And actually, one thing that Roger, our ITB, we call him, did really well is he was absolutely anal about checking that you know, the payment worked, that the refunds worked. If we don't, well, we have never had anyone ask for a refund, but it works. Excellent. You know, and that their security is fine, and the security on our website is fine. So make sure that works. But, you know, in terms of all the sort of user functionality and stuff, I think you just have to go with it and, you know, start it, just do something.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice, actually. It's just like, you can fiddle about and wait till it's perfect, but it will never be perfect. So you just have to, at some point, just put it out there and then kind of fix those little bits as you go along, don't you? Yeah.
And as I say, 2 years in, I had a bit of a sort of aha moment at the end of last year and thought, actually, you know what, we could now sort of evolutionize this. We've made lots of little tweaks. I think now we need a big tweak.
And so how have you, I mean, it's very different to sort of going to a craft fair or a market and actually sort of standing there and selling it to people, to actually building a website and getting people to come to you and to find out about you. So
yeah,
what did you, you know, what did you do to in order to get kind of to put it out there so that you could find some customers?
No, that's a really good question. And I think my observation is that lots of people put a website up and go, yay, job done, I'll just sit and wait for the money to come in.
Field of dreams, build it and they will come.
Absolutely. No, it doesn't quite work like that in my experience. And actually I have heard people go, oh yes, you just do some social, as if social is the be all and end all. And I don't think it is. I mean, I come from a marketing background, right? So I'm bound to say this, but work out who the customer is.
Yeah.
And work out what the customer actually needs, and then work out where somebody with those needs is likely to go looking for it. So for example, we sell a lot of gifting products. So at times like Christmas, our sales are a lot higher than they are now, for example. So actually that's not entirely true, because we have certain products that go up and down at different times of the year. So it's working out, you know, who are the, so like we sell gift sets. I probably should have got one. And those at Christmas, you know, we sell 10 times more of those than anything else. So it's thinking, okay, who is going to be looking at a gift set? Where are they going to be looking?
Yeah.
So I know from doing market stalls that we sell quite a lot to sort of middle-aged or young, sort of 30 to 40-year-old and older women, Facebook audience. Yeah. So that's a good source for us. Also, we've done quite a lot on things like Google shopping ads, because you can be very clear, you know, our product is beeswax. It's meant much of it. So we sell lip balms, and beeswax lip balm is quite niche, but quite specific. Yeah. So we've bought the search terms for beeswax lip balm. So we come up there. So it's thinking about who is buying, why are they buying, and what are they likely to put in. Yeah, and then there's some other there's all sorts of initiatives that you can do, some of which are going to work better than others, but long-term things like don't underestimate email marketing. One of the things that's one of the things that Roger set up for us, which works well, although I'm not quite on top of it yet, is gathering a database. So when you go on our website now, we have a hopefully not too annoying little pop-up that asks you to subscribe and gives you 10% off your first order, you know, if you subscribe. And I think you can't abuse that, and you've got to make sure that if you send an email, there's a reason, you know, who are you talking to? You're talking to a middle-aged woman who you know is interested in the natural environment. We'll tell her some interesting things about the natural environment then. Or if you're selling a technical product to guys, tell them something. Or if you're selling a health product, tell them something health related. You know, it's being really clear on what your audience is likely to want.
Yes, I think giving them some value, isn't it? It's kind of giving them a reason to actually open the email. I mean, obviously there are times to send the email to say, hey, buy this product, but it's about getting the balance, isn't it? And sort of, as you say, you know your audience, you know what they're interested in. So yes, they're probably going to be interested in some content about bees or nature or springtime and blossoms and all that kind of thing. So that's a really good strategy to have, definitely. So what this popped into my head earlier. Have you got any plans? Because you've got your lip balms, haven't you? And you've got your body butters, and I love the animal, the snout and the paw salve, because my dog has dreadful, well, not trouble, but he gets his paws get really rough and stuff in the winter. So have you got any plans to expand your product range forward? Because you produce it all yourself, don't you? So obviously we do produce it. Yeah, we do produce it all ourselves. No, we don't produce it all ourselves. We produce most of it ourselves, but increasingly we are working with other local suppliers to produce things, because one of the things that we realized is, and again, I think this is advice I would give people, is just do what you think is right, and then review it and review it and review it. Yeah.
And one of the things that we realized is people really do love what we stand for. You know, we do stand for totally natural products that you can read the ingredients, you could eat them. You know, it's not greenwashing by any shape or form. And people really like that.
Yeah.
Even if you search on organic products in the shelf, they still have preservatives in them. Preservatives kill the flora on your skin. They're called biocides. All products with water contain biocides. I could go off on one here. There's very few companies that will sell you skincare without biocides in it. Yeah. So we realized that was what people wanted, and they kind of like the feel of the brand and the fact that we give money back to bring the meadows back, but we don't have enough products. So we are working with a lovely soap manufacturer in Wales, actually, so I can hear your accent. And she also makes some lovely bath salts as well. So we're looking to introduce a few more sort of pampering, bathing type products. And we also have a range of face products that we're developing as well, because you've got to be really careful about that, because you've got to make sure that, you know, people are only putting the best products on their face. So we're working with a couple of other suppliers to find the best products for that.
Yeah, and that fits in with the gifting side, you know, the pamper products. That's perfect for people looking for that gift item, isn't it? Especially at Christmas or whenever. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, thank you. But that's another reason why we realised that the website at the moment isn't really, it is fit for purpose, but it's coming to the end of its shelf life.
And will it be Shopify? Because you're on Shopify at the moment, aren't you?
No, we are WooCommerce and Stripe.
And will you be sticking with, is that you use sticking
with?
Yeah,
I think so, yeah. And actually, God, I kind of had to rely on Roger, our ITB person, but he did quite a lot of research, and for what we want, his recommendation was that WooCommerce and Stripe were the most suitable for us. I don't think there's that much in it, to be honest, from what I've seen. So yeah, that seemed to work well for us.
Yeah, and do you find sort of with the back end side of things, do you have any sort of challenges with kind of order management and that kind of thing? Have you got all that? I presume you've got all that kind of nice.
Yeah, no, it works quite. It works quite well. So basically, the system we've got is WordPress. So we've got a WordPress website, and actually that would be another big learning. My top tip to anybody, and we went round and round the houses on this one. Some web designers are, oh yes, you have to have it all completely bespoke, and you have to have this, and you have to have that. You really don't. I don't think. You know, yes. So we've got a template. We've got a WordPress template, and yes, it's compromised a bit from what, if you go and look at like Lush website, for instance, which obviously is one of our competitors, is really lovely, and it's all bespoke. But to be honest, it's not that much different to what our new one is going to be. And for the Lush have got a lot more money than we have. You know, for the compromise that we're having, it's not that much of a compromise. So I think, get a template website. We have it all seems to work quite well. I know Roger's put a few plugins in, so whenever someone places an order, we get an email, then we go into the system, we print it off, and I've bought some paper with stickers on it that, you know, the label peels off, and then you just put the packing slip in. You know, it makes it all really easy. It also integrates with just setting up Zero, so it also integrates with Zero and feeds into that. We're also just about to, we've just launched a post office business account, because you have to sell over 1,000 units a year through the post. So we hadn't hit that a couple of years ago, but now we have. So we're setting that up, and that also integrates with it, so you can get the order straight onto the post office, which just makes the whole logistics thing much easier.
Have you had much? So have you found have you had any challenges with logistics just because of COVID and everything? Because I know a lot of suppliers are have delays and issues and things going missing. Have you had much problem with that?
Yes, post office nightmare, absolute nightmare.
And you always use the post office, do you? Is that?
Yeah, because most of the products we sell are average order is about £15, and it goes really from £5 is the cheapest thing we sell. So we get some orders for £5, and you know, it didn't arrive. So we post it as a large letter and put a second class stamp on it. And people were saying, oh, what's the tracking information? And I'm like, tracking information costs £4 to add. I don't sell a £5 product with free postage with £4 packing.
And if you tried to charge them £6 for shipping on a £5 product, they'd all recoil in horror, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and in fact, that's another top tip that I was given, and I think is a really good one, is if you can do free delivery.
Oh, that's a massive, people love, well, that's why Prime does so well, isn't it? Because everybody loves free shipping.
Yeah.
And and you can even charge, obviously you're covering your costs when you're in your price, but people are happy to pay that because of the free shipping. So how were you dealing when things were going astray? Did you have a problem kind of dealing with that, or did you find people were quite understanding and willing to kind of hang on and wait?
It's an absolute nightmare. I mean, I feel sorry for the post office, but they cocked up. I know that they had problems with COVID and stuff, and for that I really feel for them, and I know they got in loads of posties, but you know, the service was terrible, and you know, we were, even first class was taking a week. We had some second class stuff that was taking like 3 or 4 weeks to arrive, and we ended up having to refund lots of people. You have to just take people on trust, and I'm assuming that they told me the truth. That's one of the things about post office, or royal, what's it called, the delivery service, the business one is called, it's not called the post office anyway, but they give you get a certification or an indication when the product's been delivered, so at least you know that the consumer's not lying to you when they say it's not arrived. But you know, honestly, we just had to take it as a cost of doing business. So if we had to replace a £5 product, obviously it's not costing us £5, but it you know, it's cheaper than saying, well, we'll pay £5 delivery charge, you know. So it's,
and you can't really put a price on the value of a happy customer versus somebody who's annoyed because they've paid for their product and they haven't had it. And it surprises me how often when I'm in kind of Facebook groups where retailers are just refusing to give a refund, they just kind of shrug their shoulders and go, well, oh, I'm sorry, I've sent it, but and I think, how can you, it's beyond belief really to me that it doesn't take much to keep the customer happy, and then if a happy customer is going to go and tell all their friends, they're going to come back and buy again because they know, they feel safe, don't they, that you're not going to look after them and you're not going to just kind of
no, I think you're absolutely right, and keeping the customer happy is a biggie. What's a shame is that we also sell on Amazon as well. We sell some products on Amazon, not many, and I hate Amazon.
I don't think you're the only one.
but
well, I know you're not the only one, in fact.
But we sold a lot on Christmas from Amazon because people search for it. So, you know, I hate it, but it did enable us to keep going, you know. But what's annoying as well is Amazon customers, some are lovely, but I think some are so used to Prime that you know, the product doesn't arrive, and we had a 1-star review because the product didn't arrive, and I'm like, oh, there's nothing, I posted it, you know, please, I'll give you another one, but don't give me a 1-star review. And of course we just had to delist the product because with a 1-star review you can't sell it, so that one died. And it, you know, it's nothing, you cannot do anything about it, it's just a nightmare.
I did manage to, I must admit, when I was selling on Amazon, I did manage to get some reviews removed. It was very, you could, if they'd left the review on the product but it wasn't product related, I think you could request to have it removed, and then vice versa. If they left you a seller review that was actually a product review, that you could get that removed. Again, I didn't, luckily, thankfully, I didn't have many, but I don't even know if you can still do that.
No, that's interesting. Oh well, I
can't. But
we delisted the product because it.
But yeah, you're stuck then, aren't you? Because you
totally stuck. You can't sell it.
yeah. So do you sell on any other
Yeah,
So
we sell
online
on Etsy.
Yeah.
That's a nice one. Etsy's a nice one to sell on. It nowhere near the volume of Amazon, but you know, for somebody starting out, if they've got a product that they're making, obviously you can't sell services on Etsy, but you know, if you're selling something then I'd say Etsy's a nice one. There's a few others we're not on. New Monday, Folksy, I don't get any volume from them, so not on the high street. Obviously we're not on the high street because they're quite particular about what they want, and they take a big margin, but I think, you know, if you can get on not on the high street, if your margins are there, that's a good one.
I suppose. And when you're saying if you've got quite small order value and low order values, then you kind of have to, you know, if you're selling something that's £150, then you've got the margin to cover that fee, haven't you? Whereas if it's a smaller product,
well, and also, you know, we make our products, so obviously we can have quite high profit margins, whereas you know, if you're having to buy something in, and you're not going to make much of a profit margin, and then not on the high street take, I think it's 25%, so it's quite a high one.
Whack that.
Etsy's about 10%, I think, and Amazon's 13%.
So do you have, what are your plans for the coming year, and where do you see yourself in sort of 5 or 10 years time?
So I never plan that far in advance, because I teach people how I still do some work for various marketing consultancies and teach people how to do marketing planning, and I don't do it myself. and I intentionally don't do it myself because who would have planned last year, honestly? So I have a real vision for where we want to go. We're bringing back the wildflower meadows. So we spend 10% of our profits and quite a lot of money giving out wildflower seeds, donating to the Wildlife Trust, give quite a lot of time to local environmental charities. So that's my plan. It doesn't really matter how much I sell or don't sell, as long as that's happening. That's good with me. So I know what we want to achieve. I don't really care how we achieve it. But in terms of constantly, I think what my advice to people would be, just know where you're going, but then keep reviewing how you're getting there. So one of the things that we never set out to sell to retail. We won a local competition that got us a listing in a big local shop, which was great, but perhaps took our eye off the ball a little bit. And actually, retailers are challenging to deal with, because obviously they have their own, they want to be in control of what they do. And as a brand owner, I want to be in control of what we do. So things like pricing is always an issue. I cannot set pricing, and I have sold to retailers and they have undercut my pricing, which I don't want to do. So I'm going off. And last year, e-commerce worked really well for us. We focused on it because the retail was shut, and we grew our online business 5-fold last year.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and that was by not really doing all that much in a challenging market, obviously. So it's made me realise that actually, you know what, I would far rather sell direct to consumers. Keep the communication, keep the brand, keep the message, because without the dilution of a retailer, you can do that. Keep the margin. Obviously, it costs you more because you're having to, pay for the shipping and stuff. But at least you're keeping, you don't have a middleman taking half the money, half the profit, half the money, half the cost. So our plans are to keep developing our online sales, increase the range. So we've got probably another half as much again products to launch in the next 3 months. It's quite busy. Exciting. I can't read you the website. Not much then.
When do you sleep?
And actually, you know what? I don't work that hard because I don't want to. And I think another one of my top tips is find people who you can rely on to outsource things to. There's no way on this earth that I could learn to do IT stuff. I'm just not interested in it. But I've got a really great guy who can.
Yes,
I
it's like
think
that zone of genius, isn't it? Jack Kennedy talks about zone of genius, where like you do what you're really good at and what you love.
Yeah.
And you'll be so much more productive because there is somebody who loves doing bookkeeping and record keeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes more sense to be more efficient with your time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really good advice.
Yeah. And also I think the other thing is I see people get really stuck, and okay, I'm lucky because I've got some financial behind me. I've had a 30-year career. I've got some money saved up. But I do hear people start up a business, be it e-commerce or any other thing, and their pure aim is to grow and make money and be successful.
Whatever
my success is far more on, am I getting good feedback? Do customers like what I want? Adventure before dementia. That's not my saying, that's somebody else's, but I really love that. And it doesn't really matter to me as long as I'm making enough money to pay my bills and to let me know that I'm doing something that people like. I'm happy with that. I don't need to sell the business in 5 years' time and make £1 million. I don't need to, and I don't particularly want to. I think I'm not saying there's anything wrong in that. If some people want to do that, some people don't.
Yeah.
But I think just be really clear on what you want.
What you want.
When we first won this local competition, we had quite a lot of people came up to me and went, "Oh, you'll need to be investment ready now. You'll need to get some investment. You'll need to borrow some money. I'll help you write a business plan to get money from the bank." And I was a bit like, "Oh God, okay then." And then after a few days, I was like, "No, I don't. I don't want to do that. I'm happy doing what I do. Thank you very much. Leave me alone." And I think people can get sort of suckered into that feeling like they have to be successful in somebody else's mind. Be successful in your own mind.
No, that's really good advice. I really like that, and I love, how for you it's about it's really your vision with the nature side and having those products, those natural products, and I think it's wonderful that you're sort of managing to stick with that vision and not let other people come along and distract you with whatever their goals and visions are. And that's and I wish you every success, because I'm really looking forward to seeing the new website, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the new products that you're launching.
So am I. Let's hope we manage to do it.
You will, of course you will. Because you're doing something you love, so it does make it easier to kind of get there when you're actually enjoying what you're doing and doing something that you love. So if people want to come and to get in touch with you and find out more, where should they come?
Yeah, so visit the website, either the new one if you're listening to this before March, or the old one if you're listening to this after sort of middle of March. So it's www.nevesbees.co.uk, so nevesbees.co.uk, and then our contact details are all on there as well.
Wonderful. That's
and if you want to, we also do quite a lot on Insta and Facebook and Twitter, and one of the things that we always try and do is post bee facts and facts about bee-friendly flowers. So people really seem to like our little bee facts. So if you want to learn more about bees and pollinators, then every other day we post a little bee fact. So Insta and Twitter is just @NevesBees.
That's wonderful, because I love bees. I've always wanted to keep bees, but I don't have a big enough garden. One day I will. I am adamant one day I will have a bee. Both my grandparents kept bees, and my uncle, and my cousin does. So I think it's wonderful what you're doing, both in the business and for the environment and for nature. Thank you so much. This has been so interesting. Thank you so much for joining me. And hopefully I look forward to seeing what you've got coming in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.